Hi you guys, welcome back. So today we're going to do something a little fun. Lately I've been noticing that some of my moss poles or coco coir poles that are supported with wooden stakes at the base have been rotting a little bit. There's some that I've had for like 2 years that are just now rotting, so it's like they're durable for the time being, but I was just kind of playing around with the idea of really durable plastic clear moss poles. Sorry about my air conditioning and laundry going, please ignore that. But yeah, so I was watching Wild Fern, if you guys know Fern on YouTube. She uses thickly poles, which are plastic poles, but when I was looking them up, looking at like the shipping, the cost and all that, I was trying to see if I could find maybe a more affordable option. And I did. I found on Amazon, God, what are they? I think it's called EOX 4-piece 24-inch plastic moss poles. And I'll include the link below if you guys want like these exact ones. I have never used them before, and so I thought I would show you guys what they look like, maybe try and set some up. This is why we're doing this. I set one up and they're easily stackable and extendable. And so I really just kind of wanted to show you guys, just in case you guys were struggling with the same thing that I'm struggling with. Also, I know I get the stacking coco coir poles, but if I get the other like nicer moss poles, I don't know, I just hate the extension process. So I want to find something that was a little more easy, you know, something easier. So I made this really big one for that sad epiprenum elbow that you guys saw in my last video. We're gonna fix her. But I don't have enough moss to even fill this up today. So I do have a couple other plants that I want to make smaller ones for. And so I figured I'd just show you while I'm making it, because the plastic on it is so durable. And by the way, this is not sponsored. I have no connection with the company or anything. I do get Amazon affiliate commission if you guys order things through my links, but I'm just doing this because I was searching for a solution for a while, so I just kind of want to show you guys, and let's set one up. My camera's gonna be a little shaky, but so this is the one that I want to make a moss pole for first. This is my Philodendron Majestic. Willow's playing with a bunch of stuff. Yeah, I just really want to make one for this one first, because you guys can see it is still very young, and I have it on a chopstick, which is what I tend to do for a lot of my younger plants that just need a little bit of support, but it is obviously not a long-term solution. The earlier you get things on poles, especially a moss pole, the earlier it can climb and begin to mature, and that's where you're going to get a lot of the mature leaf shapes. So this one gets very big and pillowy, and while it is young, I want to get it started early on a moss pole. So yeah, the size that I ordered, 24-inch, that one would be perfect, because it wouldn't be like, you know, right here to where I'd already have to extend it. It'll give it some time to actually get comfortable and grow into it. I'm gonna mention some other supplies you're probably gonna want. These came with the poles, so you won't have to buy this separately if you get the exact ones that I got. Otherwise, you can find this pretty much anywhere, but this is like a Velcro tape so that you can, that was Willow. She just knocked over the moss pole. Anyways, that you can adhere the plant to the pole with. This is a pretty small roll though, so if you're gonna do a bunch of them, you're gonna probably need more. I go through that like crazy. And then I have this. This is different. This is more of like a wire. This is gonna help when you're extending the pole. You guys see? So the moss poles have holes in them, like 3 small holes. And I don't know if that's the point of it. I think it is, but when you extend it, then you can take a zip tie or something. They're small holes, and you can just like secure it together. This works great because it's so skinny, but it's like a really durable wire, and it's for plants, and it comes with a little like a snipper clipper blade on it, which I really like. So, and this has a lot in it that I have yet to run out of this. So just some things to keep in mind. If you're not gonna be extending right away, like if you don't have a super tall plant right away, you don't need to really worry about that yet, but something of some sort to actually hold the plant against the pole for support. And then if you want to extend it, like I said, they have small holes, so something like that plant wire stuff is great. And I'll link everything that I've personally used. But yeah, and just another, like, it's thick, it's really durable, so I'm so excited. Sorry, one last thing that you guys are gonna want, obviously, the moss. I have purchased multiple types of sphagnum moss over the years, and nothing makes me more angry than getting sphagnum moss that has just like sticks and like wires and just honestly a lot of garbage, which is like concerning to me. You know what I mean? Like that's not right. So I prefer the New Zealand sphagnum moss. I order mine on Amazon. I wish I could find it located in store, but I don't think there's really many places, if there are, near me. So I just order on Amazon. There's 2 different sellers on Amazon that have fast shipping and really good quality moss. And just to give you guys a preview, there's no sticks. It's really fluffy, really good. It's light colored. You guys see how it's like a light brown beige? That's important. The sphagnum moss that I've purchased in stores, in like a big box store, or honestly some like, I don't even know where, they will be like a dark brown with like red strings and sticks and a lot of crap that you just don't want in your plants. You don't want it in your props. And so you probably wouldn't want it in your moss pools either. It's just garbage. And so I like the New Zealand sphagnum moss. It's fluffy, it's great, it's so healthy. My plants root really well in it, and it's just my go-to moss. So I can link a couple of the vendors that I get this from on Amazon. It'll seem small, but it comes in a condensed brick. But once you put water in it, you have a crap ton of moss. I think I ordered like 150 grams and it showed up in a little brick, and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know this isn't enough. I put it in a bucket, like a big bucket, and put water in it to hydrate it, and like the whole bucket was filled. So don't get worried if it shows up in a little brick. This is literally part of a brick. So if that gives you any sort of relaxation. Yeah, nice and fluffy. So moss, the poles, obviously, something to adhere the plant to the pole, and something like a wire. Zip ties I think might be too big, but if you have like skinny zip ties or something for just extending the pole, that's pretty much what you need. Scissors, all that fun stuff. Now we can finally get to it. So it comes in a box like this. I ordered a 4-pack because if you guys know me, I procrastinate putting plants on poles. Like I literally just, I don't know why. I think it's because it's such a chore to extend the ones that I have. Even the stackable ones, and I'm like, oh, I gotta order more. I got a 4-pack and I got 2 4-packs. So this is 1 4-pack, comes in a box. I'll show you guys, I already opened one and used 2, but then they have it rolled. I was worried that I ordered literally like the tiniest moss pole, but it's because since they're plastic, they just fold it, lay it all on top of each other and wrap it. So it actually is like a really efficient way to ship them. But yeah, so right here we have 2 because I already used 2 to make that extended one. And like I said, it came with that Velcro stuff. And if I unroll this to show you guys one piece, because one piece is 1 24-inch pole. Does that make sense? Okay, here we are. Sorry if my phone shakes at all. So you're supposed to unwrap it. It comes with a plastic film on it, just a heads up. So I'm trying to make sure. I wonder if no, I did not. Okay. I want to make sure I show you guys because it is a pain in the butt. So you see this grid part? Do you guys see I'm pulling plastic? The easiest way to do this is to go like this. So to stand, lay it flat, sorry for the poor angle. Hope you guys can see. It's hard because it's clear, but yeah, you just kind of hold it with your leg so it doesn't roll. You can roll up here once you're done, but you pull off the plastic film, and then it literally, this is the one thing that I don't like about these poles. That plastic film is so fragile, it'll just rip into shreds. So now you have to do the plastic film on the grid part. And the easiest way to do it is honestly just take your nail. See, some of it came off in that initial run, but a lot of it didn't in the middle. You just take your nail and just go piece by piece, row by row, and peel up that plastic. I honestly contemplated just leaving it because I am lazy, but I want my plants to have better than that. So, all right, so I did that one side. Now let's just do this side. I have nails, so this makes it a lot easier, but it comes up, it's really easy. It's just so tedious because of the grid, so you're just having to go like row by row. Like this would be my one negative review for them. Like if they can improve this somehow. I don't know the process when they're manufacturing it, but this is the one thing that I do not like. And so you see now I can kind of like pull it, just kind of get any little areas that I missed on the edges. Okay, so I got all the plastic off. Now you open it up. Again, it's clear, so I'm sorry if it's hard to see. They made a fuss about what sides left and right. I think that was just for direction's sake. But basically, lay it horizontal, and you're gonna fold each side in. There is a line to do it, but it's just easier to fold it where the grids are, because like it naturally folds right there. And I don't find that it makes much of a difference. So I did that side. Now, doing the other side. Nothing too crazy because it will round out. You don't need it to be a sharp fold because again, you want it to be round. You guys see how right now it's kind of flat? Yeah. So now we're going to from top to in. So top to bottom, from outside to in. Let's see if I can do this good. All right. You guys see these flaps, these triangle flaps? You guys see those? Those have little slits that they go into. So from top to bottom or outside to in, you're going to just pop them in like that. Easy peasy. Now, I've done a couple of these. Sometimes it can be weird or difficult to get these in. You just really gotta like use your finger to press them in. But like once you get middle to the middle, I just kind of like pinch it and like press. You just gotta like really finagle it in there. But this one's actually easier than the other ones that I did. So that's interesting. You'll hear it snap in. Okay, so now we've got a pole, but you guys can see, so do you guys see how it's like flat here and round here? So I just kind of go like this, where it's those hard edges that we folded. Ooh, one came out. Don't do it too hard. There we go. Just to kind of like make it more of a pole again. But in my mind, that's kind of good enough. I'm not really picky. I don't mind having a flat front. But yeah, now this is probably easier to show you guys. See how there's like a line for folding? And like, try to see how I can show you guys. You can barely tell with like the light reflecting off of it, but yeah. So now we have a moss pole and we can put it in the dirt. Okay, so got the plant. Take that out. I have my soil mixture. If you're curious about what this is, I have mentioned it in previous videos, like my repotting and potting props, and those I go into more depth about it, but basically it's 50% orchid bark mixture, which has orchid bark, large chunks of perlite, and charcoal, and then about 40% of some sort of soil compost. I just find and use what I can. So this one is just like a Miracle Grow one. I know everyone's all woo-woo about it, but sometimes I use Fox Farm. Sometimes I use whatever I find. And then the last 10 or 20% is just your typical small perlite. You can get a bag of that at like a big box store. So that's my mix. You can see it's fairly chunky. For this plant, since I'm putting it in a clay, terracotta clay pot, I have a little bit more of the soil because I know that this porous pot is gonna draw out moisture. And with my watering habits, which you should always think about your own watering habits, I want it to retain a little more moisture at a time. So then I amend it to have more of the moisture holding components, which for me is the soil itself. And then I got the pole that we just made. I'm putting this in a pretty small pot because if you guys can see, oh God, things are just falling. It's not really even ready to be repotted necessarily. I don't feel like this is gonna have much of a huge root system. So that's why I'm not gonna put it in a massive 6-inch pot. That's just gonna be way too much pot, too much soil for a plant that doesn't have much of a root system. This almost takes up the whole pot, but I can squeeze like half of the pot of space to put the plant. So I figured once I take it out of the pot, out of the soil and stuff, the roots, it'll fit in there and then it'll have time to just kind of like grow in and establish. And you guys can see, I haven't put the moss in here yet. I'm doing that last. We're gonna pot it in there and then we're gonna put the moss in. Oh, wow. Okay, it does have some roots. Well, I'm just gonna kind of break this up a little bit and we'll see if it'll fit in this pot. If not, I think I can size it up to like a 5 or 6-inch pot, potentially. Let's see. I think I would have it go like this, like that. It'd be a pretty tight squeeze, so I think I'm going to get a bigger pot, which is good. It's gonna make it easier. All right, so I found a slightly bigger pot. It is a plastic one. And I'm going to just rest the pole against me. It fits in there really easily, which is good. And I think there's a root here that would appreciate going there. And I could just kind of carefully do it like that. So I think that's what we're gonna do. Because this is a plastic pot, it's not gonna be as sturdy. I'm also, for the base of this, I'm gonna put soil in the moss pole in the base because I want that to help it hold. So from the top, which you guys can't see, I'm adding dirt. Because at the base, obviously, is dirt. Okay, so that's pretty snug in there. This, let's see. This will probably go something like that. We'll figure it out. You guys really just gotta kind of like work it, finagle it. I think I might have done a little bit too much dirt. So I'm just gonna like dump it out there. And then back into the moss pole there. There we go. I think that's what we're gonna work with. And now the roots at the base too can go through the pole. So they'll have plenty of space to grow. This isn't going to be a long-term pot because obviously as this plant sizes up, it's gonna get really top heavy. Again, if you guys have seen wild ferns, hers is massive. It's the reason why I actually wanted this plant because I love pillowy leaves. So, okay, I'm just gonna add more from the top so that it is filled in and the roots will go into the dirt down there. And then I just gotta add some more in the back. Oh! You guys can see I'm pretty nonchalant about like this stuff. Some people are a little more like gentle and I don't know. I just throw some dirt in. All right. Make sure we get any air pockets. Cool. Can you guys see? See? All good. And now, I think we would leave this up and just start attaching it like that because there's a nice root right there. And then, yeah. So now you guys see why we want to start them when they're fairly young, because it's grown enough to be able to attach, and then now it'll have all this space to mature. And by the time I either can obviously pot it up because if it gets more roots, or I can just extend this pole. But I'll probably pot it up because it's a little snug, but like it'll be okay. You know what I mean? So now I think I'm going to attach it to the pole with that Velcro tape. So like I said, it comes with this Velcro stuff. Make sure, this might be obvious, but for anyone who hasn't done this before, make sure when you guys are attaching a plant to a pole, you're attaching it by the stem, not like the leaf or the petiole, which is where that leaf attaches to the stem, okay? Just wanna make sure that is clearly stated for anybody starting out. I'm gonna have it attach like the Velcro, so the ends of the Velcro in the back, because that way I don't see it. Just gonna kind of push this one nice root in there already. Get that one kind of out. And this stuff's nice for this kind of moss pole because it's round and it just really nicely and easily sits on there flat. I could make it a little tighter, but I'm not going to. And then this stem can still be bent, but I have this leaf. I think I'm going to just do it a little bit so it's not like the stem's gonna lay totally flush with the pole, but that way it'll encourage it to like grow in that direction, because I don't want to break it. By the way, this is the first time I'm doing this with this pole, so yeah, we're learning together. I seriously recommend these, you guys. These are like sturdy. So again, right under the node on the stem, and get it nice and snug. And it's Velcro, so it just makes it easier. So you guys see, I didn't really try to force. I could do it a little more. I just don't want the stem to break. I didn't do a long enough piece. Well, I did, but like just a little harder to finagle. That way, so you guys see, here's the node. You don't see, there we go. Here's the node, and I did it right underneath that so that roots can grow out from here. and it'll just, you know, it's not in the way of the growth and in the way of growing into the pole. So there we are. There she be. So see, right underneath the node, there's a root that was really nice that I just go ahead and put right in there. You guys see the back is closed. So this is actually gonna help it retain moisture, which is a problem with moss poles commonly. You want your moss to be moist if you wanna help encourage that growth and the roots growing into it. Again, I honestly don't water moss poles because usually they dry out. But being enclosed in plastic, which is also why I do plastic pots, it'll help retain some moisture. There's the Velcro, and you guys can see these slits so that it can just grow into it. I hope she'll be happy. I think I need to go pot shopping again. I'm trying not to like have 10 pots just sitting around, which usually ends up happening, but now I'm at a point where I repot and I don't even have a pot to put it in. But yeah, there she is. I can't wait for her to like get big and grow. Let's clean up a little bit and then we're gonna put the moss in there. And I don't have a ton of moss, but like I know I have probably enough for the start of it. All right, I got my moss. So from the top, just little by little, I'm gonna push it down. Oh, I need a stick. This stick will make it way easier. So add that to the list of supplies. A long stick. So you guys see I'm just like literally top filling it. And I think I'm just gonna do a little bit at a time so it doesn't keep getting stuck in the grooves, because then I can just let it fall in and then use the stick all at once. You know what? I might have enough. Oh. I want to make sure that I'm not making it too compact for the moss so it stays fluffy, but definitely, you know, a little compact so I don't just have like a bunch of gaps, if that makes sense. Now, what I think is great about poles like this is that you don't have to fill the entire thing. You can fill it as the plant grows. Does that make sense? So I'm gonna do it a little bit above the plant, and then as it grows, I will add more. But that way you're not seeing the moss, it's clear, so it's not gonna be like sticking out like an eyesore. But just enough so that it can grow up into it. So this is about where it's at currently, growth-wise. I think I'm gonna do it like to here, which leaves about almost a foot of space for me to fill in moss in the future. Because then I can use this moss towards other plants, poles, props. I did just order some and it's gonna be here tomorrow, which is good because then I can fill that really tall pole. Okay. You guys see I'm kind of bad at getting it in the actual pole. It just falls to the side. So it's good to do a little bit at a time. You guys see we're not even to the top of the pole yet. So that's why it's good. So the moss, like I said, the 150 grams is a good option if you're not gonna do a ton. I ordered for this. Also, by the way, this is how tall the extension is compared to me, and I'm 5'2". So, like, that's great. Super tall moss pole. I ordered 2 packs of the 150 New Zealand sphagnum moss, so I'll have 300 grams to fill. A lot. I think I'm gonna leave it at that because it looks like it have here and here. That'll give it at least some space to grow. And the rest, how much do we have? Well, there's not really much left. I think I actually am just gonna fill it and use the rest of this moss. And then I'll just build the poles for my other plants and fill those as I get moss. Because you guys saw, I'm doing the moss part last. So you could honestly do the repot, and it is a sturdy plastic pole, so like it will still support the plant, but it just obviously like roots, it doesn't have moss to grow into and like attach, you know. But if you're like me, where you did not realize how much moss you had on hand and you need to order some, then you can at least do everything up until this point, since this is the last part. Plus, that'd be kind of nice. I don't know, you can just do a ton of building. Like, I'll probably build them all at once to have them pre-built, so that on hand, when I'm like, oh no, I need a moss pole, I already have it built and I can just fill as I need. This is actually fun. I normally dread the process of making a moss pole. That's why, if you guys can recall, I always just buy them. But I like to buy them from a shop that is about 2 hours away, that Down to Earth Garden Center. I love the moss poles that they have. They have so many sizes and styles and options. But like, I just can't, that's a trip that I have to plan for, because that's a day trip. It takes 2 hours to get there. You shop for like an hour or two, and then 2 hours to get back. I mean, that's your day. Haven't had time like that. The rest of this is kind of dusty, so I feel like it'll just, yeah, fall out of the holes. So I think that's about good enough. And some got into the soil, but that's okay. So here you go, you guys. That's what I'm talking about. I still didn't even fill to the top of it. Isn't that crazy? These, I think I literally, for a 4-pack, paid $24, 25 bucks. So $25 for 4 poles this size, that's pretty good. I mean, you think I've spent like 50 bucks on a tall pole in itself. So yes, you obviously gotta buy the moss, but I have moss on hand almost all the time because of propagating, and it's one of those essentials, I feel like. But yeah, you buy the moss, you buy these poles, they're easy to assemble. Again, they're super easy to extend. This is the easiest it's ever been for me. And I like that it's clear, because I don't think you're really gonna notice it. You know what I mean? I hate that I have some poles that are just super out there and the plants haven't yet climbed it or covered it. So you just have a bunch of poles sticking up everywhere. I don't love that. So I kind of like that because it's clear, and because I don't have to fill it all the way. I'm hoping, let's see, it'll just kind of like blend in. The only part that'll really stick out is the part of where the moss is in there. So anywho, there she is. That's my Philodendron Majestic, and that's how I do it. This is the first time I did it with this pole, but yeah, it was super quick and easy to assemble. The only thing that sucks is that plastic film. But other than that, you guys saw how quickly it was to assemble it. I think these are like super durable, and that's kind of the process. I like that I can fill the base of the pole with soil. Here's why. Have you guys had a moss pole and it's top heavy and just freaking tips over, or it like angles back, or it just can't support itself, which is funny because it's supposed to support the plant? Yeah, it sucks, right? So I kind of like that. Now I put it in when I'm putting in the soil, and I fill the first part of the pole up until the top of the pot with soil, so that the base roots can grow into it as well. And this thing, let me show you, it's on there. It's on there, it's sturdy, and I don't think it'll tip. If it tips, it's gonna tip the whole pot. That's fine. That's why I need a heavy covered pot. But yeah, I think it turned out good. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm just gonna leave it at this because I have a bunch of other potting and all that stuff to do, and I just don't think I want to make this a crazy long video of doing the same thing. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys have any questions about this, please let me know. Comment below. Comment if you guys have found better moss pole options. I would love to see what you guys really like and found that is good. But I will link all this stuff below so that you guys can just click and get the exact stuff that I'm talking about. I, again, am not affiliated with the company. This isn't a sponsored post, like nothing like that. I just genuinely picked these up today, opened them, built them, and thought, wow, these are great, and wanted to share them with you because I've been looking for something like this for a while. And then just so you guys know, I want to be fully transparent. Whenever I link something from Amazon, I sometimes get a commission from it. So if you want to support me as a creator, that's a really easy way to do it. And that just means shopping with the actual links below. Otherwise, like, it's not a big deal to me. You can search them as well. It's EOX, I think is the brand. But yeah, I will link it all below for you so that you guys can do this. And if you try it out, let me know how it goes. This is a game changer, and I have a feeling I'm gonna be swapping out like a crap ton of my moss poles, which is gonna be so much work. Give this video a thumbs up if you guys enjoyed, if you even made it this far, and go ahead and subscribe because we're just literally hanging out doing planty stuff. And yeah, I'll just see you guys in the next video. Bye.